Hello, everybody. My name is meteorologist Hutch Johnson joining you. We've got a lot to talk about in the Northern Plains. Record heat, some cold, rain, the Aurora, and an update on Hurricane Milton. It's coming up now. Broadcasting on all my channels. Make sure that you know if you're watching Hutch, it's interactive. You can drop me a comment, a question in the comments. Let me know. Make sure you like the video if you like what you see here. And again, you can follow me on Facebook. If you're watching on YouTube, click that subscribe button. And as always, we'll have the latest coming up right now on Hutch's weather.
Now, a Hutch's weather update with Chief Meteorologist Hutch Johnson, brought to you by Robert Gibb and Sons.
All right, thanks for watching. Let's get right out to Florida. This is the most pressing thing nationally that's just going on right now, and then we'll get to your forecast here in the Northern Plains, and we'll go back with more national weather and some serious highlights to talk about here in a second. Check this out. The landfall is happening as we speak, and what you're looking at are some different plots of numbers on here. These are from buoys, from ships, as well as land observations. What you're looking at is wind gust speed. Taking you in, you can see Sarasota here, 102 mile per hour winds, and that's a gust just reported there as we have worked our way through. So that's in the Bayshore Gardens area, not far from Sarasota. Venice, we have a gust of 77 miles per hour. What's this purple thing that you're seeing surrounding? This is the area where the hurricane force winds are extended out to. Right now, the latest measurements on this system are as follows. Milton is a Category 3 storm at 121 mile per hour winds with gusts upwards of 150 miles per hour taking place, moving northeast at 16 miles per hour. This storm is going to track on towards Fort Myers as we go through the next few hours and overnight head toward the Palm Bay area in its continued really onslaught of the peninsula of Florida. All day long, the outer bands producing tornado warnings where we had numerous tornado warnings and not small ones, some large ones and damaging ones as well. So Florida bracing for some of the worst. The storm surge, again, one of the reasons we pay such close attention to exactly where this storm makes landfall is because from the position of landfall, and in this case, points south, because the winds south of it are coming onshore. That is where the greatest storm surge will be. So keep that in mind as we're looking at our neighbors down in Florida. So that's a look at the latest with regards to the hurricane. As we take a look at the latest radar data, you could clearly see we have flood warnings aplenty across the region. Most of the very sharp thunderstorm activity is in this outer band now offshore. This is where most of the tornadoes were happening earlier. There's still sheer in those storms, and for sailors out there, definitely something to pay attention to, as there is a very broad area of a marine warning out there for the waterspout potential tonight for this line of storms that is working its way through. Tampa and all the way out towards Orlando remains in the band of the very heaviest precipitation. Rainfall estimates, if you saw my video update a little bit earlier, there's more on this, but it's already at 10 to 20 inches of rain estimated between Tampa and Winter Haven in this area, because all day yesterday, the leading, prequel to the Milton onslaught took place there. So flooding rains there. The storm surge, Sarasota points down to the south is where that will be the worst. The winds are already over 100 miles per hour near Sarasota, where the eye of the storm is well on land. Now, as it moves on land, they usually do tend to weaken just a bit. So for viewers who are watching nationally, let me see what we have here for questions. Okay, we're seeing a lot of folks signing on. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Checking the YouTube channel nationally to see what we have going on here. If you are watching on YouTube, feel free to drop a question here. So for now, thank you for checking in, letting me know where you're watching from. And again, the heavy rain is going to be a problem. So the three big concerns with Milton are this. Number one, the storm surge. From Sarasota and point south is where it will be greatest. The storm surge expectations from the National Hurricane Center are as follows. We could see some areas with a storm surge that exceed 10 feet. So that means we could see some very, if you have a single story house that's built up to 10 feet high, could be higher than that house. And that is why the evacuation suggestions were given with this storm system. So here is a look at the storm surge, just to give those of you a little bit of perspective on a single-story house. 12-foot storm surge. Nope, we're expecting upwards of 15 feet in some of the worst hit areas. And again, much of Florida's elevation above sea level is at or around 1 foot, and some places are well under sea level. So some dangerous situations ongoing there as we head into the overnight hours. That's something to keep in mind. So we'll get back to a little bit more coverage of the national scale weather here in one moment, but for now I'm going to take this back up into the northern plains as we head in on the latest ongoings here. Very quiet weather right now in the northern plains, but the forecast is looking like there is some significant change on the way in the way of clouds and in the way of all things considered. Now, we talked a little bit on the headline here that we have a chance of the Aurora. There'll be a slight chance tonight, and that chance of the Aurora could really increase tomorrow, but the clouds are on the increase as well. So a couple of things that I want to share with you right now is the excitement that Hutch's weather has going on right now, and that is the fact that for 27 years, I've been weather kidding. What's that? Where I invent or invite a student meteorologist or a student in to help me do the weather. And I want you, if you have a kid who's really interested like Hutch is in the weather, I'm going to bow out so you don't see two of me. No, you're not seeing double. It's just me forgetting to turn off my camera. There we go. So I need you to sign up at Luther Family Ford. They are proudly presenting Hutch's Weather Kids. It's swing in during normal business hours near I-29 32nd Avenue exit in the Fargo area, or you can log on to Hutch's Weather anytime to see the very latest there. Hutchesweather.com is where you go to sign up. So thanks to all of you who have already signed up. We've got our kids scheduled. We're going to get started, and you're going to start seeing some area students and myself having a lot of fun. A little bit of a note on the hurricane stuff here once again as we take a look. Hurricane Milton is a Category 3, but it is a strong Category 3 in the 120 mile per hour range as it's making landfall. That's devastating damage in isolated places with the strongest of the winds. Gusts, by the way, were recorded at 150 miles per hour or so, which means we could see some catastrophic damage in some isolated places from the system. This is referring to the types of wind damage that happen to trees and structures and the like. Milton will be weakening as we go through the overnight hours to a Category 2, and by morning become a Category 1 storm as it works its way to the Atlantic side of the state of Florida. So that's a little look at the Saffir-Simpson scale. Let's take a look at the Aurora forecast. There is a chance tonight of the Aurora. The better chance comes for tomorrow as we head into the forecast period there. I do want to point out a couple of fun things and facts with regards to the Aurora, and for that I'm going to go to the experts page right now and check out what the Space Weather Prediction Center says. A couple of things to keep in mind. You see a lot of these colorful maps all over the place. And what does it mean? Forecasting the Aurora can be challenging. And so what we look for are a couple of numbers. And tonight on this Wednesday night, we expect our digits for the KP index to be at most 5. That means that the southern viewing line could be into South Dakota, but more likely you're going to see this in southern Canada, maybe northern parts of the Red River Valley in North Dakota and northern Minnesota and northern Montana tonight. The chance isn't that great, and in fact, when we look at some of the latest digits, they wouldn't support that. Tomorrow, though, and as we go into the morning hours, these numbers increase. So if you live in a northern state, tonight, as you go towards daybreak, will be the best chance if clouds aren't going to impact your forecast. So keep that in mind, because clouds are certainly a part of the forecast up here in the northern plains. Look at the southernmost tip of the viewing line here. For your day tomorrow, this is Thursday night, the viewing line goes all the way south into Colorado, Nebraska, Kansas, and down towards Missouri, Indiana, Illinois, all areas having a chance at seeing the Aurora. Here's why. The KP index right now, well, as we went through the last couple of days, we've had a lot of Aurora here, but that number has dropped down for tonight. It's not very high yet, but it will be increasing towards morning as we go into the morning hours. Here is a look at where they forecast the KP index, and right now being at about a 3, a level 3 is not necessarily a great chance at seeing the northern lights anywhere farther south than the international border. But as we see, it very abruptly starts increasing as we head into your day on the midday hours as we go through tomorrow, and it will be as high as 8 or 8.5. And that means we could definitely see the aurora in those southern states as well. So a little tidbit there in the forecast for you as we continue to look. And I'm going to load up a look at the forecast model here. And when we take a look at this forecast model, what I want to point out is that you're seeing a lot of numbers on here. So I ask you to bear in mind with me here while we clear some of this out. Okay. So for the forecast, we're going to look at the overnight forecast, and we'll take this out all the way into the 48-hour time range here. And as this is loading, what you're going to notice is that clouds will become more of a part of our forecast area in the northern plains as we go through the overnight hours. So when the chance of the aurora is peaking closer to the morning daybreak hours, our northern counties in particular will start to see these clouds working their way in. So here's your forecast for the evening as we go through the overnight and towards morning. The best chance of clouds through northern North Dakota, northern Minnesota, maybe some breaks down south. But again, to see the northern lights, you're going to try peering to the north on the horizon. So it's going to be a little bit tough sailing for those who want to see that. Now, the chance of rain as we go through the midday hours tomorrow will be up in parts of Manitoba. And this cool front that will be moving through will be cold on the west side and warm on the east side, as the south winds will really warm things up to near record highs in places like Fargo and points south and east. Now, once the cold front moves through, you'll know it because your wind's going to switch direction to westerly or northwesterly. There'll be a break in the clouds for tomorrow night's viewing of the northern lights for mainly our northern counties. So tomorrow brings the best chance at the northern lights, and there's a chance tomorrow at seeing it, but there's going to be hit and miss activity. Notice this model showing a couple of spits of precipitous precipitation precipitating from those clouds as we go through your Thursday night, and then Friday brings the real chance of some rainfall into Saturday. Saturday will be the best chance. It looks like north. 1/10 to 2/10 of an inch of rain is all I'm expecting. Although if we get some heavier thunder showers or convective showers, we could see a little bit more in a few places. This is not going to be a soaker type of event like many of us need here in the valley. So let's get to the latest as far as your forecast goes here for the valley. The Red River Valley of the North, 51 degrees in Fargo, 50 Grand Forks, 45 for Babe the Blue Ox in Bemidji, and 51 on the shores of, well, the big lake up there, 51 for War Road, Minnesota. The milder temperatures in the morning will be out to the west, and the milder temperatures in the afternoon will not be out west, where a pool of cool will be blowing in from Montana. Your winds will be westerly. Here in the Red River Valley and eastern Dakotas, the heat will be on from Pierre to about Fergus Falls. 80 to 85 degrees in these places. That'll kiss a record in Fargo. 86 is the record. Grand Forks, I think you'll be shy of the record by a little bit. Your record also 86 for this date. But there is a chance at seeing some near record highs, though, in the Southern Valley as we go through with south winds increasing. Planning forecast looks like this. Look at the temperatures sliding away, folks. We're going to wave goodbye to those 80s for a while. We're going to be back down into the 40s. And we go from near record highs on Thursday to a hard freeze by the time we wake up on Tuesday morning. Some of us could see a hard freeze in our northern counties on Monday morning, and that's something to keep your eyes on. It's Hutch's heads up for you. After that, we stay on the cool side of this storm system, and we will see a gradual return to temperatures back to near 60 degrees by hump day of next week or in 1 week. So that is a look at the local forecast right here. If there are any questions, I'm going to refer to those right now. But first and foremost, I do want to thank all of you who have shared pictures on hutchesweather.com of all of the great photos that have shown up. Your colors, the northern lights, thanks so very much. Again, you can upload yours if you see the northern lights tonight to hutchesweather.com. I invite more of you to do that. Thank you so very much. Questions and concerns in the forecast? Otherwise, we'll get back to some coverage of the national event. Glad we don't get hurricanes up here. I can't imagine either. However, just a couple of days ago, over the weekend, when we had the fires and Glasgow, Montana, 93 mile per hour gusts, and in the oil patch of North Dakota, gusts hit over hurricane force, 70 miles per hour. And this was from an ordinary, well, it wasn't an ordinary storm. It really was extraordinary strength low pressure system that moved through. Paula, thank you for the stars. Clarine, you couldn't have said it better. Prayers for our neighbors in Florida. And again, we're watching, feeling like there's not a lot we can do. We're hoping and praying that those in the path of the storm have taken precautions, gotten out of the way. But for those that don't, there's a lot of folks going out there to help. And in fact, the National Guard from Minnesota heading out there to lend a helping hand as well. And all of us can as well. in the coming days, find out how we can help. So take a deep breath, say a prayer for those folks like Clarine is encouraging all of us to do. I appreciate that very much. What will that wind reach us afterwards? That's scary. Paula, no. The wind from the storm system out in the Florida area and the Gulf is going to be heading out to the ocean. So that's a good thing to know. Friends and relatives in the Tampa area, and it is terrible with the rain in Tampa right now. Brandon, all the way out towards, well, really Orlando is where it's going. So indeed, Craig, thank you for your suggestion of sharing prayers with those in Florida. Okay, I do want to point out nationally, we have some, hey, what weather going on? Take a look at this as I load up a national look at a model, and then we'll wrap this broadcast up here. So for those of you in the United States who are interested in a snow forecast, check it out. Hutch has your back. Let's take a look at this. Now, first, I'm going to pop this up. Now, you're going to see a little bit of details here from the hurricane, and this one's going to slide overnight across the Gulf and across Florida and into the Atlantic. What we're watching is these little blue streaks. You remember what blue is now on the radar, folks? That's flakiness. That's frozen precipitation. That's that white snow nonsense that we see. And I am just not ready for it here, even though Fargo is not, it's not unusual to see October snow here in parts of North Dakota and northern Minnesota. But check this out. We're going to have some mighty cool air working its way and mixing its way down, as you saw in the forecast here in the northern plains. And things stay quiet all the way through Saturday. So as we go into Saturday, that cold high pressure system works in, and then the coldest of the air punches southward after this weather wiggle works its way through on the weekend. Now, this is going to be on your Saturday and into Sunday. This high pressure system and these blue lines here indicating some cold air. Do you see the blue mixing in up there? Yep, that is some upper peninsula flakes of snow possible there. But look what happens as this huge storm works its way out as we go into the early part of next week. That is a significant chance for some wind and snow all the way up there. So if you are in the northeastern United States, particularly Maine, all the way up through Vermont and Connecticut, yep, the high country in particular could have a chance at seeing some flaky weather. Look at this ridiculousness. This thing pulls out according to this American forecast model as we look ahead, and we'll see a chance of flakes flying. The north winds across the greater part of the country is going to cool off this. Just draw a line right here. Everywhere to the east is going to be cold. All these red lines out here means everybody out here is going to see south winds and a return to some warming weather. But will that last? According to this American model, look what goes on here as we get farther in time. Out near British Columbia, the next wave of energy moves in from the jet stream, and as that comes in, look at this. Oh, Montana, West Yellowstone, all the way down into the mountains of Colorado. Folks, that is some snow and wind. This is a Colorado low type system working its way into, look at this ridiculousness, having it going all the way into the Black Hills. Now, this is a long way out, and it's just safe to say that this far out, we can't put too much confidence in this forecast, but it is showing a much colder trend into this upcoming weekend, and that cold air could influence precipitation to be of the frozen variety in the northeastern United States as we go into next week. And that first blast of cool air along with the next system moving in, who knows? Elevated terrain is my thought. Going to see a chance at some flaky weather. Justin, 1991 Halloween blizzard brings back memories. I don't see anything like that. I sure hope. But this model does go out a little farther. Do you want to see how far it goes out? Let's see what this thing shows. Oh, no. Do you see that Colorado low producing the snow and Colorado lifting right through here? Well, we're going to be warm enough, but not for long. On the back side of the system, you see it drawing in the cold air from Canada. It's a watcher. It's a watcher. But this is well before Halloween. We're talking about Sunday and into Monday, the 20th and 21st. And as we skirt towards the latter portion of the month and we head toward the 25th, which is the farthest this particular run goes out, that's what we have. That's a look at the wild weather that we have right now. Thoughts and prayers for those in the Florida area. Thank you so very much for watching. Hi, Brooke. It's so good to see you. I hope you're doing very, very well. And Taylor says hi, checking in on the folks watching on YouTube as well. I want to make sure that I've answered some questions with regards to that national weather. Ronald, thank you for watching from Lisbon. I really appreciate that very, very much. And again, I'm going to throw a hi out here. And again, if you get an opportunity, go ahead and check out Hutch's website and upload some photos of weather in your area, whether it's locally here or across the nation. We have a lot of travelers out there as well. Wild weather, beautiful fall colors out there. For now, I am meteorologist Hutch Johnson. I invite you to check out my website. Let me know what you think in the comments, hutchesweather.com. No matter where you are, no matter when you're there, you can get the latest on your weather. Follow Hutch Johnson, Chief Meteorologist on Facebook, and subscribe here on YouTube. For now, meteorologist Hutch Johnson wishing you a very, very good Wednesday night, and we'll check in again soon.